Hello, Algebra 2 students. Today we will be doing 11.1 notes, find measures of central tendency and dispersion. So in this section, we are going to be talking about statistics. Statistics are the numerical values used to summarize and compare sets of data. There are two types of data that we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about the measures of central tendency, and these are mean, median, and mode. They represent the center of a set of data. The second type is the measures of dispersion. This represents how dispersed or how spread apart data values are. And we are going to talk about the range and the standard deviation. I'll mention variance briefly. Okay, so the three measures of central tendency are the mean, median, and mode. The mean is known as the average of a set of data, and its symbol is X bar, because it has a bar over it. The mean of n numbers is the sum of the numbers divided by n. So basically, add all the numbers together and divide by how many total numbers there are, and that gives you the mean. The median is the middle value of a set of data listed in increasing or decreasing order. So it's the middle. But you must list the numbers in increasing or decreasing order. When the data set has an even number of elements, the median is the mean of the two middle numbers. Okay, and finally, the mode. The mode is the most common item, so most occurring item in a data set. So those are the three measures of central tendency. For the measures of dispersion, we have the range, and that's basically the difference between the largest and smallest. So biggest minus smallest value. The range gives you an idea of how close together the data points are. And lastly, the standard deviation. The standard deviation is the average distance between each data point and the mean, and it's denoted by this symbol right here, and that is the Greek letter sigma. Knowing the standard deviation gives a more complete picture of the distribution of elements in a data set. And standard deviation takes the longest to do. And here's the formula. I'll read it to you and we'll do two problems, I believe, with standard deviation. So the standard deviation is the square root of, and in the numerator, what you do is you take each of your numbers and subtract the mean from it, square it, do that for each value. Then you add all those together and divide by how many total numbers there were. Then you take the square root of it. So here's the steps. Step 1, find the mean, which we would have already have done. Step 2, you do this, you take the value minus the mean for each and square oops, each answer. I put that twice. Then add the above answers, divide by the number of terms, then take the square root. And lastly, the outlier. An outlier is an inconsistent data point, and we're not going to figure out how to actually calculate an outlier to see whether something is an outlier. You can do that in a statistics class if you decide to go further with statistics. What we want to do is one example, and we're going to do some comparing. So the data sets give the times in minutes for runners in two races. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of each data set, and then find the standard deviation. So notice for mean, we want to find the mean of A and the mean of B, the median for race A, race B, and so on. So what we'll do is do one race at a time. So I want to do race A first. So let's focus on race A. I'll mark it in red. And the best way to do this is to go ahead and make sure the numbers are in order. They actually are for this example, so that's nice. They're in increasing order, so that'll help us find the median. So to find the mean, you want to add all the numbers together. And then divide by how many numbers there are, and there are 9 numbers. And that gave me When I added them, I got 78 divided by 9 and round, and I just rounded to the nearest hundredth place. So I got 8.67 as the mean for race A. That's your average. The median, and you could just go over here and cross numbers out one at a time from each end until you find the middle value. There's the median. So the median is 9. The range, or I'm sorry, the mode is the most occurring number, and the one that occurs most often was 8 and 9. They both occurred twice, so we have two modes. So the median is 9, and the mode 8 and 9. Okay, and now the range is next. Range is largest number minus the smallest. So largest was 12 minutes. Smallest was 4. So that's 8 minutes. So 8 is our range. And lastly, the standard deviation, which takes the longest, but that's okay. So standard deviation. And the formula or the symbol sigma. Oh, I did want to mention the variance is just basically taking the standard deviation and squaring it, but we're not going to mess with the variance. Make a really long square root. Reason why is we're going to fit in 9 numbers there. That's going to take a while, so I'm going to do all that stuff here. So the first number in our data set was 4. So 4 minus the mean. Take every value in your data set, subtract the mean from it, square it. So do that. The next one is 7 minus 8.67. Square it. Next one is 8 minus 6.67. Squared. 8 again. You do it for each value. Plus 9. Plus 9 again. Plus 10 minus 8.67 squared. Plus 11 minus 8.67 squared. Plus 12 minus 8.67 squared. All divided by how many total numbers there are, which is 9. So I took a calculator, I did everything in the numerator, and it gave me some answer. And then I divided by 9, and it gave me some answer. And then lastly, I took the square root of it, and I got 2.21. So that is our standard deviation. So I'm going to put that right here. And now we are going to do race B. So race B, okay, we want to find the mean and the mean. So again, the numbers are all in numerical order. So 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 11, all divided by 9. And that gave me 69 divided by 9, which was about 7.67. So that is our mean of race B. Okay. The median, so again, crossing out one at a time from each end. Since we know there's an odd number of numbers, there's only going to be, you don't have to take the average of it. So that's 8. So the median is 8. The mode is, let's see which occurs the most often. 8 occurs 3 times. And then finally, the range, before we do the standard deviation, is the largest, which is 11, minus the smallest, which is 5, equals 6. So let's see, the median was 8, the mode was 8, the range is 6, and now for the standard deviation. That's the one that is a jerk, basically, because we have to do a lot of work to it, but that's okay. There's a quicker way on a graphing calculator, but can't show you. You don't have one. So standard deviation, again, the square root of all of the values minus the mean squared, summed up, divided by the number of items. So the first value in our data set was 5. So 5 minus 7.67 squared plus, oops, not that it matters what color I do it in, plus 6 minus 7.67 squared plus 6 again minus 7.67 squared plus 7 minus 7.67 squared plus, we have 3 of these eights. Subtract the mean from them. Plus 10 minus 7.67 squared. Finally, plus 11 minus 7.67 squared. All divided by 9. So again, finding all the stuff in the numerator will give you some number, divided by 9, give you some number, and you're going to get something like 50 something, I believe. Or I'm sorry, not 50 something. I think 3 something, but whatever. Anyways, your standard deviation ends up being 1.83. Right, and that is it as far as finding the measures of central tendency, which is mean, median, mode. And then the measures of dispersion are range and standard deviation. Oh, yep. And those are your notes for today. Have a great day, Algebra 2 students.